Welcome to the Art of Action Figures. This is my top 10 figures of 2023 from any line. The only rules are it has to be a figure that was released and bought by me in 2023, and no unlicensed figures. So you won't hear anything about Dragon Ball AF Super Saiyan 5 Goku on this list, but I do have a separate top 5 Dragon Ball third-party figures video, so you can go check that one out. Since that video is Dragon Ball third-party only, I did get one other third-party figure this year outside of Dragon Ball, and that is the Dasen model Inuyasha. Really reasonable price for how much is included. You get tons of hands, tons of faces, all the different forms of the Tetsaiga. So yeah, honestly, I'm just so happy to have an Inuyasha action figure. Not real sure why this property is so slept on by like your import brands. I know Figma made Kagome because of course they did. I would really love to see like SHF get a hold of this and do the whole crew. Sango in her like battle outfit, Miroku. There just need to be more like Japanese anime demon monsters in general, not just for Inuyasha, but Jujutsu Kaisen, Chainsaw Man. Those lines are just like sorely lacking enemies. At the number 10 spot for 2023, the newest addition to my collection is the Jada Toys Mega Man from Wave 1 of their Mega Man line. Always loved this character design ever since I saw it in one of those like how to draw manga anime style characters art books when I was younger. This figure just has desk or pocket buddy written all over him. And if you've been following what Jada has been doing with their action figures so far, you know they don't mess around on articulation. A really, really fun figure to have on hand. I will be putting out a full review for him probably in the next couple of weeks. I don't know if I'll get all the Robot Masters, but may get a couple from like Mega Man 1 and 2. I think I like those designs the best. For whatever reason, Cutman just like really grabs my attention. I think it's the scissors on his head. Great little figure. So much fun to pose around. And like I said, this is going to be my desk and pocket buddy. At number 9, he's definitely not hand candy, more like hand salad. It's SH Figuarts Guts Berserker Armor from Berserk. Dark Souls of action figures. If you are interested in learning some of the ins and outs of posing this figure, especially with respect to the shoulders and the hands, check out my review. At number 9, it's the SH Figuarts Berserker Armor Guts. And we'll put him over here with Mega Man, and they can be arm cannon buddies. At number 8, it's the SH Figuarts Darth Vader from the Obi-Wan Kenobi series. The use of cloth for his tunic pretty much immediately elevates him above any other import Vader in 6-inch scale, and the wiring in the soft goods to me puts him above even the Black Series, which has some really good offerings for Vader, especially this year. Import build quality, articulation, and accessories, including the battle damaged parts that we see equipped here. Swooshing red lightsaber effect elevates him to a mechanical breath away from being the definitive 6-inch scale Darth Vader. The only things you might be missing are like specific costume beats for Return of the Jedi or Empire Vader. And I was just a little bit let down by his ankle articulation being kind of limited due to just being a single ball joint. He really doesn't get very much ankle pivot. That's why he's not going to climb quite so high on the list. Battle damaged parts are incredible. This head sculpt is one of the best of the year. More on that in a minute. Not super essential for me, but they are definitely some icing on the cake. And then the cherry on top is that the neck peg is compatible with the unmasked Return of the Jedi Vader head that's included with the Jedi Knight Luke figure arts. So if you have that figure, you've got 3 head options for this Vader. So I was really pleased by that. I think it's the best 6-inch scale Darth Vader that's ever been made. But I'll recognize he does still have some pretty solid competition. Yeah, number 8. It's SH Figure Arts Darth Vader from Obi-Wan Kenobi. At number 7, it's the SH Figure Arts Mandalorian and Grogu set from Season 3 of The Mandalorian. Recently, there have been a lot of really strong 6-inch scale Mandalorian figures, with another one due out from Mafex in February. But what really stood out to me with this figure arts set at first was Grogu. It doesn't feel like an add-on or like an accessory to Mando. He's a figure of his own. He's got a swappable head. He's got 2 different bodies. Ear articulation, which is just such an essential part of his character and how he expresses himself. And I was really, really pleasantly surprised with the Mando as well, having a couple of really nice upgrades over the previous figure arts version. This one, for me, just edges out the competition thanks to the wired cloth cape, the outstanding articulation, really great detail, and I personally like the finish on the armor being a little bit darker than just pure bright silver. This is the first Darksaber accessory that I've had, and they did just a really good job capturing the lightning crackling effect. I've got some light shining from behind him here. While Season 3 had some ups and downs, I really do like the Season 3 Pram design. It's this kind of cool metallic black sphere. And they just edged out Darth Vader on this list, since I do think they're a little bit more ahead of the competition. I've had a lot of fun playing with these two. That is why my number 7 is the Season 3 Mandalorian and Grogu from SH Figure Arts. At number 6, it's the SH Figure Arts Second Form Frieza from Dragon Ball Z. It was a very good year for Frieza completionists, bringing both his second and third forms, as well as pre-orders for Mecha Frieza and 100% Full Power Frieza, due out in 2024. Well, it's great that they made third form just for the sake of not skipping a form. Second form really was the standout, just in terms of the sheer scale and presence of this figure. I think they could have given 10% of second form's size to third form, since the discrepancy really does in some ways diminish third form a little bit. In my mind, the two forms were always the same size roughly, with just the changes to his head and back, his spines, and things like that. So it was a little bit shocking for third form to come out shorter than Goku. Piccolo going toe-to-toe with second form here is definitely a highlight. Third form isn't around for very long, but definitely leaves a creepy impression. There's some great action as the suspense builds. Frieza becomes increasingly unhinged and sadistic, and it really sets the stage for that climactic battle with final form Frieza. But yeah, monumental figure. He definitely has a very imposing presence on a display. The build quality is just outstanding on this figure. All of the joints are really, really solid and smooth. And he's huge. Frieza, second form from SH Figure Arts Dragon Ball Z is my number 6 for 2023. At number 5, it's the SH Figure Arts Metal Cooler from Dragon Ball Z, The Return of Cooler. If you saw my top 5 SH Figure Arts Dragon Ball figures, you know that this is in my top 3 DBZ movies. I'm a big fan of the movies in general. The finish that they've applied to him, I believe, is some special sort of vac metal. It's not merely paint. It is actually some type of metal coating, which I think is what's behind that price. Whether or not it was necessary, I'm not sure. Full review for this guy will be coming out soon, and we'll talk about all of that in more detail. The main takeaway here is he is just gorgeous and definitely pops out of any display, but so far I don't love handling him, and so that's the reason why he's not climbing higher on the list. As far as my attachment for the character and the quality and articulation of the figure and its accessories, he's definitely top 3 material, but the finish and the price hold him back just a little bit. Like, every time you move him, he sounds like he's breaking. It's just not my favorite figure to handle, and that's a shame. I wish he was a little bit more affordable, number one, and two, a little bit more fun to have in hand. He's a great display piece, don't get me wrong. It's definitely one of a kind in the Dragon Ball collection. Let's hope it stays that way. Return of Cooler is one of my favorite movies, probably even over Cooler's Revenge. I love the DBZ sci-fi aesthetic, and the Return of Cooler is a great homage to retro sci-fi movies. There's some 2001 going on, there's Terminator, there's Tetsuo, Akira, there's all sorts of cool stuff going on. My attachment for the character's doing a lot of the heavy lifting here. I think he won't necessarily make a lot of top 10s, but mere existence of this figure is enough for me to put him this high on the list. But I just wish he was a little bit more fun. But yeah, my number 5 is the SH Figuarts Metal Cooler. At number 4, it's the SH Figuarts Super Saiyan Trunks, the boy from the future. Figures do not have to be perfect to make it onto my top 10. I just have to be able to enjoy them enough, despite maybe having some flaws. This Trunks figure is by no means perfect, and is probably one of the most flawed figures on my list, but at the same time, I have enjoyed the heck out of him because Future Trunks is my favorite character in Dragon Ball, and this is the hyper-articulated Future Trunks figure that I have always wanted. Shoulder joints in particular really goes a long way for achieving some really awesome sword poses. Future Trunks is another character from the sci-fi side of DBZ that I enjoy so much. All the best qualities of Gohan, Bulma, and Vegeta rolled into one. I love that they are starting to include alternate hair pieces for action poses, and this is a great example with the alternate bangs. So simple, but it gives so much more movement to your action poses. No Trunks figure has come anywhere near being able to hit this pose, and this one does it beautifully. Yes, there's some weirdness going on in the shoulders and the jacket around his back, but this is what it's all about. It's got to be able to hit those deep sword swinging poses, as well as this signature move. I forget what the name of it is, but this is one of his moves in Fighters, and I think it's his finishing move on Frieza. At number 4 on my top 10, it's the SH Figuarts Super Saiyan Trunks, the boy from the future. At number 3, it's the Mafex Comic Magneto, aka Mafex number 179. Possibly the most slept on figure of 2023. I barely heard a peep about this figure throughout the year, but I have seen him pop up in a few top 10 lists for good reason. Maybe people just have come to expect perfection from Mafex, and upon receiving the perfect Jim Lee Magneto, went, yep, and moved on to the next.
I think maybe he was overshadowed a little bit by Nightwing. The comic Thor left a bad taste in people's mouth. Who knows? Lots of stuff going on, but it's not every year you get the perfect Jim Lee Magneto figure. And while I don't go too deep into Marvel, I do love some 90s X-Men, Spider-Man, comic, video game, movie, animated series, tie-in content. Magneto, definitely a favorite character for me in Marvel vs. Capcom, and probably helps a lot that he was played by Ian McKellen, and I'm a huge Lord of the Rings nerd. The accessories, phenomenal. If I could change one thing, it'd probably be swapping out the blacked out face for just a default, for just a standard face with a neutral expression. And I don't know if people are just like cool rocking the Legends version, but like for like the price of 3 Legends figures, you get everything you could ever want on a Magneto figure. Masked and unmasked heads with different expressions, 3 different types of power effects, which are all really cool. Excellent build and articulation. A standalone helmet just for him to carry. And while Legends will like spread all those accessories out over 3 releases, you just get them all in one with the Mafex. And probably the best cape of the year. This purple wired cape is just magnificent. The wire is really, really strong. I'm sure he'll show up in a lot of top 10s, but it's just funny that he was kind of such a sleeper hit, and like still in stock on lots of import sites. Like I saw on Hobby Genki, he's there for, I don't know, $70. But yeah, the cape and the power effects and the just Mafex level articulation and build quality, which has gotten a lot better. Yeah, Mafex figures, they are like museum quality art, and so I really, really enjoy them. And when they get to a character like Magneto, it's always exciting. That is why he is number 3, the Mafex Magneto, number 179. At number 2, it's the Jada Toys Chun-Li from their Street Fighter II line. Definitely my favorite figure to come out of my favorite new line for 2023. The one I was looking forward to the most because Chun-Li is my favorite character. This line single-handedly got me back into Street Fighter and playing Street Fighter 6 after a very long hiatus. The amount of passion, engagement with the community, transparency, and just love and respect for the franchise that comes across from Jada is apparent in all of their community engagement, which has been phenomenal throughout the year, as well as in the figures. They found a very good formula for this line. This Chun-Li figure has hardly left my desk. For a character that is supposed to be an extremely agile martial artist, they have represented it perfectly. She moves like a pretzel, hits every single pose that I can think of, and looks just awesome and elegant while doing it. I can't think of another figure with hip and torso articulation as impressive as this one. And for far too long, lady figures have lagged behind their male counterparts. I'm so glad that Jada has not let that happen with this line. Sure, she doesn't have all of the joints that Ryu and Fei Long have, but her posability is every bit as good. Extremely fun. Go check out one of the first videos I did on this channel, putting her head-to-head with the SHF, and both imports and domestic companies are being put on alert with what Jada's doing with this line, and it is so refreshing to see new competitors in the action figure space that are genuinely raising the bar for established brands like SHF, Hasbro, etc. As much as I love SHF, I'm not really interested in their 6 to 7 year old Street Fighter figures at this point that don't have anywhere near the level of articulation that I know that brand is capable of producing. Not to mention, this is, aside from Jada's Mega Man, the least expensive figure on my list at $25, which is pretty much the lowest price you will find for a 6-inch scale action figure, and it's an amazing one for that price. So she hits every move that you can imagine, everything from her moveset, which requires some pretty extreme hip and torso articulation. They have packed it in. It is simple, but highly, highly optimized articulation. Very, very effective as a result. And I just love posing this figure around because, like I said, she moves like a pretzel, hits every pose I can think of, and looks awesome and elegant while doing it. And that is just not only a phenomenal thing for an action figure, it's a fantastic representation of this character that embodies that sort of brutal elegance. It was a really tough pick between number 1 and 2. Once we see what my number 1 is, I'll explain why I had to go that way, but depending on the day, I might reverse my decision just based on how fun Chun-Li is to pose around. The golden yellow paint over blue doesn't look green in the slightest, and that is fantastic. The detailing just really comes through on her costume. They have used the costume to their advantage with this just insane torso articulation. I am so excited for what Jada will be doing in the next year with their subsequent waves. Really looking forward to Bison, Cammy, and Vega in particular. Those are going to be favorites of mine, I think. If you've played Chun-Li in Street Fighter 6, you know that she has this secondary stance that changes up her moveset, where she gets down into this lotus position. And I was frustrated that the figure arts couldn't do it. So at number 2, it's Jada Toy's Chun-Li from Street Fighter 2. And before we get to the number 1 spot, I first have a slew of honorable mentions for the year. Starting from the left, we have Second Form Frieza, which is not an honorable mention. You already know he's number 6 on my list, so he's just there to bamboozle you in the thumbnail. Next is Jada Toy's Fei Long, another really phenomenal figure from the Jada Street Fighter 2 line, which I imagine has created a lot more Fei Long fans than there were before this figure was released. Next to him, we have Star Wars The Black Series Sabine Wren from the Ahsoka series. This is my favorite character from the Ahsoka show, which I really enjoyed. She has a bit of helmet hair, but I think her likeness is phenomenal. And they got the bright, vibrant colors of her costume and hair captured really nicely. Also, she's a Mandalorian with a lightsaber. Next is the remaster or re-release of Super Saiyan Trunks from the Cell Saga. Just a really good figure that I'm glad to have back in circulation. The updated face prints are really nice. I actually really like the pearlescent hair on Super Saiyan figures. Not necessarily something I want on all of them, but I do like it as a special treat every now and then. And great that he's coming in at the budget price for SHF at $35. Then to the right of Trunks is the SHF Gabimaru from a series that I've just started to get into called Hell's Paradise.
Originally got this figure because he was like half off his original price on Amazon. I love to see what SHF does with their highly articulated ninja characters. It's the same reason I've got Naruto and Sakura from the Naruto line, even though I'm not really into Naruto. They're just really fun figures to have on hand, and we actually just finished the anime on Crunchyroll, and I actually really enjoyed it. It's one of my favorite more recent anime. I didn't really get into Jujutsu Kaisen or Naruto, but yeah, Hell's Paradise. It's like a cross between Naruto and that sci-fi movie Annihilation, if you've seen it. Yeah, it just kept me interested all the way through. I've actually started reading the manga just to figure out what happens beyond the anime. And next to Gabimaru is a figure that I'm not entirely sure came out in 2023. Some sources I saw said December 2022. Came close to the top 10, but have a couple of nitpicks. But that's the Mafex Storm comic version. I think it's a really well-made figure. I do wish that her cape had wire in it, and this figure really underscored the need for Mafex to step up their game when it comes to like alternate face expressions. Two of her faces are almost identical. All three of them are a complete head and hair sculpt. 3 head sculpts with the same exact hair sculpt. For a character whose hair needs to be blowing all over the place in the wind or at rest, depending on what she's doing, it's kind of disappointing to have 3 identical, blowing slightly to her right hair sculpts. Just were a little bit of a letdown for me. Next to her, going left to right still, is the SHF Chainsaw Man. Probably the most posable figure in my collection. I haven't really gotten into Chainsaw Man, either the manga or the anime, so I don't have too much attachment to the character. Chainsaws are pretty sharp. His hands, necktie, and face like to fall off a lot, so that prevents me from really wanting to have him on hand if I'm like on the couch watching a movie or something. A little bit disappointing, but still the engineering is outstanding. SHF, please make a Spider-Man with this articulation setup, and it will probably be the best figure of all time. To his right, it's the SHF Yuzuriha from Hell's Paradise. Again, really enjoying the series, and I like both of these characters. I've got Sagiri on the way. Yeah, and Yuzuriha is another great character. A couple of things hold her back from making the list, though. She's got kind of a Beast Gohan type torso setup with like an overlay shirt, and wasn't really a fan of that on Beast Gohan. Same problems on this figure, unfortunately. It just really impairs the shoulder and torso articulation. So some people were saying she should have come with like an unsheathed sword. She does use the sword once. Honestly prefer like some kind of slime string or something, because I think that's like more characteristic of her power set, but I've got enough Spider-Man webs lying around that I think I can probably make use of those. But yeah, another cool character from a really surprisingly good anime. To her right, it's the SHF remastered Super Saiyan Vegeta. Pretty much same comments as Super Saiyan Trunks. Great to have this figure out in circulation again, updated faces, pearlescent hair. And finally, to his right is the SHF Turles from Dragon Ball Z, The Tree of Might. Just an outstanding figure, great accessories, great articulation. Yeah, he's just so well built that the figure, again, kind of like Fei Long, elevates a character that maybe not many people know about. And with that, let's get to the number 1. Number 1, the figure of the year for 2023, surprising absolutely nobody, is the SH Figuarts Super Saiyan Son Goku Legendary Super Saiyan. Best Goku action figure ever made. Favorite Goku figure, I've got a soft spot for Super Saiyan 4. This is just an absolute showstopper of a figure. I could say wonderful things about this figure for hours. In fact, I did. I have a full video where I do just that, so go check it out if you want to learn more about why I love this figure so much. But as far as why he is number one on the list, it's more about what he represents in the Figuarts Dragon Ball line, having been running for almost 15 years, way more than 15 Gokus in at this point. It would be very, very easy for them to say, no, we don't need an earth-shattering new Goku. We've got Super Saiyan Goku at home. The Super Saiyan Goku at home. Very happy to see we're not just going to rehash this figure over and over and over until people quit collecting. Instead, we're getting this incredible flagship figure for the line that's going to turn heads wherever it's displayed. What's even more compelling about this figure is how good he feels in hand. The joints are perfectly smooth and stable. The articulation is just some of the best that SH Figuarts has ever done. These shoulders and hips and torso setup all work incredibly well. That is it. Your number one figure for 2023, or figure of the year for 2023. Super Saiyan Son Goku, the legendary Super Saiyan from SH Figuarts. Alright, that concludes the top 10 action figures of 2023. Thanks for watching. And since I've been sick, I haven't had time to edit in awards for the year, so let's just run through some of the highlights here. Gimmick of the year was between Jokerized figures, anthropomorphic animals, and translucent figures. The winner was translucent figures. Favorite phrase that I learned this year, either pre-paint or hand candy. Favorite company trend, timed digital exclusives versus physical exclusives. Definitely keep those up. And everything Jada has been doing with their PR. Least favorite company trend, physical exclusives making a comeback in SHF. Not loving that. DLC that doesn't relate to the character. But worst offender is definitely multi-packs. Favorite face portrait. One of my honorable mentions, Sabine from the Black series. I just thought that was a really good likeness. It was probably my favorite live action likeness of the year from Black series. The SHF Grogu and the articulated ears were a standout. Vader with the battle damaged mask. The SHF Guts has one of the best grimacing faces that I've seen. The Yuzuriha and Gabimaru and a lot of the SHF anime figures in general have some really great kind of gag expressions. Turles as well. And I think the winner for this one for me has got to be the SHF Android 19 battle damaged face. Next is Best Dressed. This is best costume representation in an action figure. So a lot of Star Wars Black series looked really good. I think the ones that stood out the most were Sabine, again, with the really bright, colorful deco pattern over her Mandalorian armor. Bastila from the Knights of the Old Republic, kind of leathery maroon and gold look. Third one that really stuck out was Scorch, the clone commando. Android 19, again, has a really unique costume, and I think for the most part it came out really, really well. Jada Chun-Li has a very specific, unique, vibrantly colored costume, and they did a great job. But I think the winner has to be SHF Guts. As many problems as the figure has, the sculpt
detail, paint, everything that has gone into this Berserker armor costume, I think has just come across really, really well. I don't really know what to call this award, but it's basically like figure that uplifts the character. Fei Long is kind of another one. Star Wars Black Series, the Knights of the Old Republic figures all looked awesome. I really wish I had gotten Malik and Bastila in particular. I completely missed them, and I don't really want to pay like twice their retail price. But the winner has got to be the SHF Turles. Favorite second-hand figures. Figure of the year that I didn't buy. There are a lot of really great figures that I just like to admire in other people's collections and aren't necessarily ones I prioritize for my own collection. So, ones that really stood out to me in 2023 from Star Wars The Black Series, I already talked about the Bastila and Malik from Knights of the Old Republic, but also the Clone Wars Ahsoka, I thought looked like a really good figure. I haven't finished Clone Wars yet, but from what I've seen, that likeness looks incredible. And yeah, I think that was one that people wanted for a long time, so it's great to see it. Marvel Legends, some of the No Way Home and X-Men 97 stuff looked really, really strong. I was so close to getting the Green Goblin, but the lack of ankle swivel just kind of killed it for me. I need him to get basically like crotch to glider, so he can't do it, and that's a bit of a bummer. Mafex, a lot of really strong releases. The Nightwing especially. I don't really collect DC, so that one is just one that I like to admire from afar. And I have SS written here. I think that's Scarlet Spider. We'll go with that. Yeah, the Ben Reilly Scarlet Spider from Mafex also looked really, really nice. From SHF, their Naruto line was going really strong this year. Kid Naruto looked really, really nice. Kid Sasuke, not so much. Orochimaru and Obito also seem to be really good. I think between those two, Orochimaru definitely stands out more to me. And then some of the DBZ exclusives I thought looked really good. Awakening Warrior 15th Anniversary Goku. Would have loved to have picked that one up, but physical exclusives stink. So then the Gohan, the Super Saiyan 2 Gohan and Ghost Goku pack looked really cool for Comic-Con or event exclusive. Might have been more interested in that one if I were able to get the matching Goku from 15th Anniversary. But if I have to pick one figure that I've admired in other people's collections the most, it's probably the Figma Samus Dread version. I have not kept up with the Metroid games over the years, so I don't really know this look for Samus, but if they ever release like classic orange suit Samus, I know they've got some in the line, but they're way expensive now. All there for it. This Samus that came out this year looked really fantastic, so that would be the best, I guess I call it secondhand figure. Okay, line of the year. We've talked about highs and lows, but quick recap. Marvel Legends highs, No Way Home and X-Men 97 I thought were really good. Black Widow was okay, but kind of like Green Goblin, where's the ankle swivel? Let's see, Black Series, I thought the Knights of the Old Republic stuff was awesome. I was really excited about the Ahsoka show and looking forward to seeing what the Black Series put out, but most of those figures didn't do it for me. I liked the Sabine figure pretty well. The Ahsoka figure is also very good, but that's also an existing one. And I wasn't too excited about Andor. Mafex, Hush got some great releases and reissues. The Magneto I really enjoyed. Did they have any Star Wars releases this year? I'm not sure. And then I think like Terminator was another really good one people seem to like. SHF, Dragon Ball, it was a pretty solid year. This Goku is amazing. Metal Cooler, Trunks, Frieza got 2 and 4, forms 2 and 3. Naruto line doing really well. Chainsaw Man seems to be pretty good. Hell's Paradise I'm really enjoying. JJK, the Sukuna figure, and I think Geto was also this year, so finally got some villains in the line, or antagonists in the line. Toto also looked like a really good one. Star Wars, the Vader and Mando, I really liked. OP. One Piece. Oh, One Piece was something I'm not into, but from the looks of it, had a bit of a rough start. Bleach seems to be kind of a sleeper hit for the year. Again, not something I'm into, but and the Berserk line, while it's definitely had a rough start as far as like reception of the figures, I honestly think it's off to a pretty good start. But best line of the year has to be Jada Street Fighter, and yeah, it's just really, really refreshing. Very excited for their Mega Man line. The food mascots are going strong. Nesquik Bunny, Captain Crunch, the Brawny Paper Towels guy, you name it. The like random grocery store mascots. Just like walk up and down the grocery store aisles and check out goofy mascots. The Fruit Loops Toucan, Tony the Tiger. I mean, that one goes without saying. I'm sure there's lots of deep cuts out there. Let me know. Final category, what I'm looking forward to in 2024. On Marvel Legends, the Sabretooth, the comic Sabretooth coming out looks awesome. Little disappointed that he's packed in with a Wolverine I don't care about. Let's see, then this just says S. What is S? Come back to S. X-Men 97 Wave 2, Jean Grey and Nightcrawler I think look awesome. Black Series, Phantom Menace 25th anniversary is bringing the heat. If you don't know, I have no taste, and Phantom Menace is my favorite Star Wars movie. Endgame, Padme, and Kid Anakin are coming. They've said that they're going to use the Phantom Menace 25th as just a prequel anniversary year, which I have very, very mixed feelings about, because on the one hand, more prequel figures. There are so many figures from the Phantom Menace that I would want them to make, but I think there are definitely some characters that appear in the Phantom Menace that also appear in later movies that they could stick in anywhere, so that would be ideal. Lots of prequel Jedi have yet to be made. Luminara, oh my goodness, please make Luminara. Love the prequel trilogy. Attack of the Clones is my second favorite movie, so I'm going to nerd out for the Star Wars prequels for a minute, but I'll put a timestamp if you want to skip this. They've already announced the Droideka is coming at some point. The B2 battle droid, I'll probably wait for a single release. I think Jango Fett is due for an update on the newer style Mandalorian body, and make a Zam Wessel figure while they're at it. Prequel Yoda, N1 or Naboo Starfighter HasLab would be quite an impressive prequel anniversary beat. As would Anakin Pod Racer. More prequel aliens, Newt Gunray, Watto, Boss Nass, Geonosis Arena creature sets. So, I don't remember the names of the 3 monsters, but have one of them, is it called an Acklay? One of those with a newly tooled Obi-Wan, the rhinoceros thing with a newly tooled Anakin, and the spiky cat with a newly tooled Padme, and every version of Padme, red dress with the globes at the bottom, disguised blue and brown Tatooine costume. Anyhow, all right. After Black Series, we have Mafex. Really excited for Ahsoka and Bo-Katan. Phoenix. And really hoping for a Jim Lee Rogue. Let's see, from SHF, the Makima from Chainsaw Man looks really good. Darth Maul and Qui-Gon with the updated soft goods look awesome. Dragon Ball. I'm probably most excited for GT Goku, Mecha Frieza, and Teen Gohan. Top 5 figures that I want made next year. I think I'm going to make that a separate video. And then finally, Jada Toys. I'm really excited about some of the Robot Masters coming out for Mega Man, specifically Cutman. For whatever reason, he just looks hilarious to me. For Street Fighter, let's see, we've got Waves 2, 3, and possibly 4. Wave 3, I'm really excited about Cammy and DJ. Guile is a character that I've never liked for some reason. Then Wave 4, I mean, they all look fantastic, but I think Vega is definitely a top priority for me. All right, and that wraps up all of the things I wanted to talk about for 2023. So I guess that's kind of the year in review awards of 2023. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.